Howdy fellas, it's Jazz. Lurantis definitely has to be one of my favorite Pokemon design-wise. Competitively, I don't know. I've never used Lurantis in any of my teams, and I only really like them for how they look. But you should never treat your Pokemon like that. Treat them with love, and take them to Olive Garden. Introduced in Generation 7, this Flower Mantis has a few interesting fun facts. In the Pokedex entries for Sun, Sword, and Violet, it says that it takes a lot of effort to maintain the vivid colors on Lurantis' petals, and a properly raised Lurantis will have brilliant and bright colors. Which begs the question, if a Lurantis is mistreated and neglected by its trainer, would it canonically be wilted and desaturated? If so, then that would be very interesting to see. It also says in Shield and Moon that it can shoot laser beams. Okay, if you say so. There's one more detail about Lurantis that I didn't know previously that derailed all of my plans for this coming into it, and I'll explain that later. To be honest, I only came up with 2 designs for her. I was looking at the giant flower on her back and I thought of a stylized otaiko. If you don't know what that is, on women's kimonos there is a wide belt called an obi. It's about 12 inches wide and they wrap it around their waist and tie it in the back in a drum-shaped knot called an otaiko. The thing is, people fighting in kimonos aren't that far-fetched. There's plenty of media that show people fighting in casual kimonos, but there's also something that one would call a, quote, battle kimono called a yoroi hitetare. Historically, these would only be worn underneath armor. Really, the only times that people would fight in them without their armor is during sparring matches. I almost cut out the idea for that reason alone, but then a thought came to mind. If Mortal Kombat can have battle bikinis, then I can have my battle kimono. Fight me! With all that being said, I didn't even end up going with the kimono design, because there was one detail about Lurantis' design that I just couldn't ignore. I can't for the life of me get the striped pajama pants out of my head. It's too iconic of a part of Lurantis' design to simply cover up over a kimono. So I ended up folding and just going with the battle pajamas. I couldn't complain too much though, because a person fighting in their pajamas is very comical and also somewhat badass. But then something just had to ruin it. I sit down on my desk ready to draw. I look up Lurantis to find a reference photo and there's something that catches my eye. Remember how at the beginning of the video I said that there was one detail that derailed all of my plans? This is that detail.
Lurantis is a pure grass type?
What does he mean by that? What do you mean by that? In all of the idle animations for Lurantis, she is ready to fight. You made her based on the one insect that can take on a bird in hand-to-hand combat, and you didn't make her a fighting type? I guess in their defense, if they were to make Lurantis a grass fighting type, she would actually have a 4 times weakness to flying. Which, I don't even know why fighting is weak to flying in the first place, but it's fine. You know, I didn't make Pokemon. But if I did, I would get rid of shiny locked Pokemon. Game Freak, why? Well, after that rant that took up half of my script, what I ended up with was a young girl with oversized pajamas. And I love her. She is really cute. I don't care what any of y'all say. And that's all I have left to say. If you would like to request a Pokemon for me to draw, leave a comment and I will consider it. With that being said, my name is Jazz, and until next time, signing off.